Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. We're on season 3, episode 45. We're your hosts, Dan and Andy. Andy, how are you doing today?
Doing well.
It's a Monday, Andy, September 26th. It's going to be October next week.
That's right.
But we've got a lot to cover today. We've got sports, a whole lot of sports. This is our sports episode.
Yep.
Where all we do is talk about sports and football, baseball, basketball, all that fun stuff. So where we should start? There was a trivia question last week.
Last week we never got around to answering it. We got babbling and never got it answered.
We were babbling and never answered the question. So the question was this. It was a week ago, like September 18th, I think it was the show. And the trivia question was, when's the last time that the New York Giants football team won on the same day that the New York Jets football team won, on the same day that the New York Mets baseball team won, as well as the Yankees? All four pro New York teams winning on the same day in the fall when football and baseball are overlapping. The question was, what year was that?
Well, I know looking at it, because I was thinking about it today, well, it could happen this weekend because the Giants are playing tonight on Monday night. So with Thursday night games, I'm sure there's a few times they don't always play all the time. This is had to happen in I'd say 2012, 2013 would be my guess.
The answer is 2009 that all four teams won. So it's been a while. And like you say, the odds are that they're all playing on the same day. It has to be a Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty good. That can't be that often the Giants and or Jets playing a Thursday or a Monday that week.
Yeah. And baseball always plays on a Sunday. The NFL would have started by then, so it's unlikely any other day. So it had to have been a Sunday, but all four winning. So 2009,
we only got a few Saturdays or a few Sundays in September because playoffs start in October for baseball. So, all right.
I thought that was a good one. Now we got a new trivia question, fresh one for this week.
Fresh. We'll try to answer it today too.
Fresh trivia question. It's because something happened on the anniversary here of this happening. But in NFL football, receivers and running backs will sometimes get the ball and on a special trick play, throw a pass, maybe even throw a touchdown pass. But this question is this: which NFL running back threw 2 touchdown passes in a single NFL game? A running back throwing 2 passes in a single game. That's the question.
Now, I'm going to give a little hint on this one because I know the answer to this because I gave it to you. It's not one of those situations like with the Saints where it was the backup quarterback was in at running back. It's not one of those situations.
Yeah, number 7, what's his name? It's not like that. This is a true running back.
True running back, yep.
2 touchdown passes. Pretty good. You probably won't be surprised when you get the answer, but we'll cover that at the end of the show.
Yes.
Let's start off with some high school, college, if you've got
it. Yes. You'll give me the share screen there, sir, the other images.
Yes, here we go.
All right.
So what we got is Andy's going to talk some sports here.
Yes, high school football. We'll go over some of our scores here again. We didn't pick favorite teams or just the winning teams. What kind of favorite teams? It's our local teams for us. It's schools we followed in the past and other things. So we're just going to run down these scores. These are from Friday and Saturday games over the weekend. Waconia over Chaska, 22-14. Watertown Mayor losing to Dassel Colcado, 35-25. Mayor Lutheran over Janesville, 29-7. Jordan shuts out St. Peter, 21 donut. Lester Prairie over Cleveland, 33-0. Tonka beats Champlain Park, 20-9. New York Mills, who's been racking up the points, huge on everybody, 12-0 over Pine River. Prior Lake 31, Lakeville North 14. Prior Lake's got a great team this year. I think they're 3rd in the state right now. New rankings come out tomorrow.
I've heard good things.
North Young America 44, Sibley East 6, and a 9-man Winnie Mac 38. Stephen Argyle 22. You hear Stephen Argyle's name once in a while, so they're a fairly decent team.
Yep, I've heard them.
The Beavs won again this weekend in Upper Iowa, 48-22. Their next game is the first at Minot State, and they're 0-4. Minot State is.
Okay.
Beavs are up to 2-2, tied with UMD and Northern State for first. Like I said a couple weeks ago, the Beavs started 0-2. I saw it on midweek show. Relax. They got some easier games. They played receiving votes on a ranked team the first 2 games and lost.
Yeah.
So they've come back. They're right in the ship. They're tied for first at 2-2. So things are looking good for the Beavs there for football. Kind of sticking with football. Midweek, and we go over BSU, NDSU, and Gopher other sports midweek. So right now we're just sticking football today, football and baseball. The Bison over University of South Dakota, 34-17. Bison still first place, ranked number 1 in the nation. 3-1 overall. 3-0 in the conference. Of course, that lost to Arizona. Their next game is against Youngstown State, who is 2-1 overall. No conference games for them yet. So, the Bison and South Dakota are tied for first at 3-0 and 1-0 for conference records in their division. Gophers, 34-7 over Michigan State. And that should have been a shutout, but the backups were on both sides in the fourth quarter, so points were scored. Gophers.
And they needed to make a statement. They needed to have a statement game, and they did it.
Yep, the shutout would have been nice. Shutout would have been a little overrated, I think, though, too. But because it was backups, and at the end, but it was at Michigan State, so shutout there would have been. Michigan State was ranked 11th to start the year, and they've just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yep.
I think they're ranked high because they're Michigan State.
Now, what are the Gophers' new ranking? What is that? Do you know?
21.
So they're in the top 25. I think some polls had them at 26 going into that.
Yep.
And you know, they're sitting pretty good with everything. Everything seems to be flying just fine with the Gophers.
And their next game is their homecoming against Purdue. So hopefully they could do well in that one. Little Twins news. I'm going to bring up a couple things here. I mentioned last week about the Twins with Miquel Sano when he was brought up. Not that he was the reason they went down, but just things are going good, and you upset the apple cart with another player, and things derail. When they called up Sano on July 25th, the Twins were 52-44 with a 3.5-game lead over Cleveland and 4-game over White Sox. As of the 22nd of September, when I was writing all these notes down, Cleveland had a 6-game lead over the Sox and a 9.5-game lead over us. So that was a 13-game swing right there. Excuse me. The Twins' record since then, 21-33, Cleveland 34-20, and the White Sox 28-25. This was as of September 22nd when I did the paperwork on it. So, of course, numbers have changed. So the Twins just fell apart when he came up. Not saying it was Sano's fault as a player. No. But how chemistry, we were doing well. We were kind of doing the first baseman by committee. We had young guys coming up doing well. Louis Arise was hitting the snot out of the ball. And then Sano came in and things just went to pieces. So just because – and he had a good rookie year. He was no great rookie year. He was no Marty Cordova, I'll tell you. But he's just – I don't know if he was a cancer in the locker room, if people thought, oh, here comes one of those guys, big contract player. We all lost her. I don't know what happened. Just that fell off. Speaking of changes in the clubhouses here, real quick, so Major League stuff on it. June 3rd, the Phillies were 22-29, and they fired their manager, Joe Girardi. As of today, they're 83-69. So, and in a playoff hunt. That's a 61-40 record since he left. Here's the one that's a little confusing to me. The Blue Jays, they let Coach Charlie go, Charlie Montoya, on July 13th. They were 42-46, which is a .522 winning percentage. They've been 40-35 cents, which is a .533 winning percentage. Now, granted, they're 86-67 overall. They're in the playoff hunt. But their winning percentage didn't go up that much. So I don't know if there was issues in there with they didn't think 522 record was going to be enough to get in or what. They panicked. Don't know. But that's the changes there. Albert got number 700.
Yes.
He hit 2 that day. And the one that's great about Albert, he said this all along. We've said it here too. Guy who caught the ball, Albert says, keep it. I don't want it. Things like that don't mean anything to Albert. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. Me, I want the ball. That's me personally if I'm the guy who hit it. But Albert's never been that way. He's never been a selfish player, mementos like that. That's what's so awesome about him. Is he going to be the second ever unanimous player voted into the Hall of Fame? Probably not. Just because there's going to be some jerk writer who's not going to do it. Someone from New York who wants to keep his precious Yankee guys to be the only ones to do it, you know. So he will go in Hall of Fame first time. He has said this is his last season. Do they make an exception, make him not wait 5 years and have him going in a couple years? Don't know. I would have no problem with that. I dare you to find someone to say something bad about Albert Pujols. Just he's loved everywhere he's gone. And he never really rode this monkey on his back. I mean, a lot of people were saying at the All-Star break, man, does he come back next year to get 700 if he doesn't finish it? The last 8 weeks, he's just been hot and just hitting the snot out of the ball. And the Cardinals are in the pennant race, too. It's not like they're out of it. He's sitting around doing nothing. So they've been meaningful games. So congratulations, Albert Pujols.
That's awesome.
That didn't do too good on this road trip. I'm scared. Scared. They took 2 out of 3 from Oakland. Took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. They should have done better than that. Coming home right now, the magic number is 8 as of today. So that's their magic number, 8. But here's their schedule. They got day off today. They got 2 at home against the Marlins. And then they got 3 at Atlanta.
Oh, yes. And you've mentioned this before.
Those 3, it's an 8's the magic number. It's a game and a half lead right now. Atlanta's playing today. I do not have an update on the score right now, but let's say Atlanta loses this game, marks the 7. The best case scenario, the Mets win Tuesday and Wednesday, and Atlanta loses all those games. It's what? 8, 7, 6, 5. 3 would be the magic number going into the Braves series. Best case scenario for the Mets. That means nothing. You know, 8 games. You see on the schedule there's 8 games left. They have to win them all. And if Atlanta wins them all, they win the division by a game because Atlanta's got 1 extra game to play, which would be Thursday.
Okay.
Braves, so we'll see how it goes.
And the Nationals are we can't look past them either as far as playing the spoiler.
No, yeah, because it's a rivalry, so of course they're going to want to thump you. You know, I think the Braves have the Phillies left, so the Phillies might be fighting for a playoff spot. So no cushion games for them either. Now both the Mets and Braves have locked up playoff spots. But the winner of this division gets the 2 seed, and that's a first-round bye. That's a big deal. It's not like they're just playing for seeding, whatever, in the first round. You get a first-round bye, the winner of this division, because a record would have the second-best record and get that bye. So that could be huge right there for that. So hopefully they can get it cut down, and we'll see. I don't care. If they win the division in Atlanta, great. They win it at home on the 3rd, great. I don't care. Just win the division. That's all I'm saying. And that Wednesday game's got an earlier start, of course, because it's the last game of the season. The playoffs all started. And we got all our different playoff scenarios coming up and things like that. All right, I'm done with the stats, Dan, if you want to take that screen off. And then, so the Mets. I don't care. Again, I don't care if they win it at home or on the road in Atlanta. If they don't win to play Washington, I just need them to win it to get that first round bye because DeGrom, he pitched that 1 loss in Oakland and they beat him like a redheaded stepchild. And I'm glad he got that out of his system because it's been a long time since he's been rocked. So I'm kind of glad that got out of his system there, not in the playoffs in Game 5 or something like that, you know. The Mets are fighting to see who they want to do for their rotation. A lot of teams, like the Dodgers, are probably getting things set up to get the rotation right. But things are different now from like when we were younger, when the Mets were in it last time, back in '86.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been in the playoffs before, but I'm talking World Series, setting it up where they had a big lead. You could set up your rotation to be set because you had the NLCS and the World Series, and that was it. You went with a 3-man rotation and you gutted it out. Well, yeah, because these extra rounds, you got more games. You can't just say 3-man rotation and go. You keep going at the regular season.
Looks like Andy cut off there. Let's see if he'll be back. In the meantime, with the Twins baseball, now that we're done with we're out of the hunt for the playoffs, right? Twins and White Sox, the series coming up with them should be very good. It's going to be a battle for second place. Here he is. Andy is back.
Hi.
Hello, he's back. Yes, go ahead.
Don't know what button I hit there, but sorry.
Something knocked off. I was talking about the Twins with the crowd here, with the fans, as far as really playing the White Sox here for second. It's a second place battle, and it should be pretty interesting coming up here. But I'll let you finish your train of thought there.
Yeah, the Mets got to get their rotation set. You can't go with it was 3-man rotation before. You kind of just continue in the season. You have to keep a 4 or 5-man rotation going, get that set up. The Mets have been kind of going with a 5-6-man rotation now, so we'll see what happens. It looks like Walker might go to the bullpen, and he's okay with that. He's got no problem, which is a good thing. You don't have 6 guys all saying, I should be in the top 5. It's the playoffs. You're going for a ring. If they want you to pitch in the bullpen, great. If they want you to make breakfast for everybody all day, great. You do what you do to get in the ring, The thing is, I'm just Scherzer's a bulldog when it comes to playoffs. Good luck trying to pull him out of the game. Cookie Carrasco's going to want to do well. Of course, DeGrom's want to do good. He's in the contract year, So we'll see how it goes. Diaz, he's been lights out. So let's just hope everything goes well. We're getting our position players all set. Everybody's healthy. Lindor's been doing great. Alonso's catching fire right now. So let's keep that going. But let's get the pitching straight. Like I said, the best thing right now with the Mets, or any team at this point, your pitchers have to be the team players. You want 5, and I'm the 6th starter, you want me in the bullpen? Great. You want to go 4-man rotation, I'm number 5, I'll go in the bullpen. Great. Don't take it personally. It could only help you. The Mets in '86, Sid Fernandez had to go to the bullpen. He was their 4th starter. Well, what do? You got Gunn, you got Darling, everything else. Bobby Ojeda. You had great pitching. Who do you put in the bullpen? You had to put Sid because he was the lefty. So that's where they're sitting there.
Now for the Braves, one of their top starting pitchers, Strider, injured.
Yes,
injured. Now they've already said they're not going to use him the rest of the season, which is just the week. But still, you got a postseason coming up. They want him to be healthy.
Yeah,
and that's another situation. Well, what if he's not? Who knows? How effective is he? But like you say, you got to have 3 starters and a playoff roster set.
And the first round of playoffs, the first round of playoffs, right? You're not playing a 1 against 16 seed. You're playing a good team yet. So it's not like, we'll rest our starters the first round of the playoffs. You can't do that either. So
it's
the Braves are up 8-0 right now against the Nationals in the 9th. So the Magic number will stay at 8.
Yeah, and those that are not big baseball fans have already converted over to football at this juncture anyway. But the big baseball fans, not the playoffs, are watching other things. The title, the batting title, American League batting title. You got 3 guys up there: Arise, Xander Bogaerts, and Aaron Judge. They're all within, I think it's 3 thousandths of a point separating. So, Twins fans out there. The Twins, you can follow them in the form of, like I was alluding to before, watching the White Sox trying to get that second place. You can follow like a rise with the batting title. There's things to do. There's things you can focus on that aren't in the playoff hunt if your team's not.
Aaron Judge go for number 61 and 62 and stuff going on.
Well,
Here's
he's
what I
got
can't
Triple
figure out with
Crown.
that. Here's what I can't figure out. Why are they not walking that man? Like they do with Bonds and no one's walking him. They're pitching to him. Is it a respect thing? No one liked Bonds, so they walked him. Is it they like Aaron Judge and want him to get the records? I don't know. I'm not saying they're throwing salad at him to hit a home run. No, but why?
It's an interesting point, though.
Why are you not walking him?
The guy can do it all. Triple Crown threat easily. Yeah. Now, coming into the season, American League Central, the prognosticators all had the White Sox picked to win, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Twins weren't mentioned. Cleveland was down there. Cleveland had a 7.5% chance of winning the American League Central beginning of the season. From the odds, 7.5%, because everyone just knew the White Sox would run away with it. Well,
yep. And the Twins would have followed second. Yep.
We're even in first place. The Twins held first place all season now until Cleveland. So, like you said, it's all about that chemistry. What's going to work, what's not, and 7% chance to win it, and Cleveland Guardians do it. Hats off to them, but everyone in that division here is right around a little bit above 500, if that. Like we said, you're going to have 91 wins is probably going to win the division.
Twins could finish behind Boston in the overall standings in the American League.
Yep, and they're right in there. And we got to keep in mind that the Baltimore Orioles are ahead of both those teams.
Right, and here we've had this big slide, and they've said the coach's job is safe. Rocco's job is safe. I don't understand, because
and sometimes they'll say that, and then the next day he's gone. So who knows what to believe? I think it probably is safe, but I don't know.
I'm picking with my heart, not my head when I say this. Don Mattingly it's been announced Don Mattingly is not coming back with the Marlins as a head coach, as a manager next year.
Yep.
Now, granted, you can say, well, Jesus, with the Marlins, they stink. Okay, but he did good things with the Dodgers. Do you bring him in as a bench coach, someone like Mattingly?
Well, sometimes, they did that this year. The Twins did with the Padres manager last year. Yep. Bring him in as an assistant.
Yep.
I don't know if that worked or not.
Give Mattingly got the hitting coach, but he's still there, another manager with experience. Do you give him some kind of bench coach position or whatever? I don't know if he'll be a bench coach.
Those are important positions to bring in people of that caliber. So who knows?
Yeah.
Now the minor leagues baseball, the AAA season, they're down to 3 games left. The Saints will play 3. Their season's done. They are ineligible for the postseason. Now, the rest of the minor leagues, the postseason is underway. Minor leagues, here we go. For the Twins, AA, the Wichita Wind Surge won, and they're in their playoffs. They're playing, in fact, right now for the championship, the Wind Surge. Playing game 2 tonight. It's a best-of-3 series. They won the first half of the season. No, they didn't. They're in the playoffs playing game 2 tonight for the championship of their whole conference. High A, Cedar Rapids Colonels. They won the first half of the season, so they get a clinch spot for the postseason. They didn't do that well the second half, but they entered the playoffs and they lost. Did not advance. Didn't advance to the Midwest League Championship, although they did play in the divisional. So the Colonels did pretty good. Low A, Mighty Muscles out of Fort Myers lost in the divisional titles. They too won the first half of the season in the minor leagues for Class Low A. Got to the next round, finished with the second most wins in the Florida State League. The Mighty Muscles did second most wins overall. First and second half combined win-loss record did really well. But guess who won it all in the Florida State League? The Mets affiliate Low A won the championship.
I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah.
You knew that. I was going to surprise you with it. The Mets won it all in the Class Low A. And remember, these teams are the teams up and coming, so you can always look at the minor league finishes to see what teams should do well on paper, that is, in a few years down the road in the majors. Now,
or at least players from that team. If they get
players from that team, very interesting. But in AA for the Twins, the Wichita Wind Surge, that a couple of years ago they put money into Wichita a lot of money in to try to attract a AAA baseball team there. They've always had AA there. Try to attract AAA. Put a lot of money in, built a whole new season. The shutdown happened, the COVID happened, then MLB came in and did a full realignment and gave Wichita a AA team, the Twins. So the Twins moved down there. The city of Wichita and the fans were like, seriously, we're going to get stuck with more AA baseball here? Well, don't put all your eggs in one basket here. It's a blessing in disguise. Wichita has had one of the best minor league teams now the last couple of years, and the fans are now loving it. And the Twins are there capitalizing on a brand new stadium, a bunch of money into the city. Wichita is doing good. Wichita is actually now the place to be. But boy, the fans 3 years ago were not happy when the Major League Baseball announced that they were not getting a AAA ball club. They're getting stuck with a AA. And blessing in disguise, Wichita has been now the jackpot minor league baseball. Keep putting together. Their pitcher this year had a no-hitter.
Probably the best stadium in all AA baseball too.
Yeah, one of the best. So, as a fan, it's easy to want something. Grass is always greener, kind of a thing. But look at what jackpot happened there at Wichita. Very good. They're playing Game 2 in the championship. This isn't divisional. This is the championship. It's a 3-game series. It's the Twins against the Rangers AA affiliate. 3-game series. Game 2 is tonight. They could end it. They lost Game 1, so they're fighting elimination. But Wichita doing well. The Saints, once again, have 3 more games and they're done. Will not be in the postseason. So all the minor leagues for the Minnesota teams will wrap up here tonight or tomorrow. Now, baseball, amateur. The over 50 league in the state of Minnesota. State titles were given out on Saturday this past week and yesterday this past weekend here. Their tournaments are done. Congrats to the St. Louis Park Bees in the over 50 league. 35 teams in the state of Minnesota. They were the best. They were given the trophy here yesterday. Over 50 league is now shut down. All that's left now going in Minnesota amateur baseball is the fall league. And coming up here this week, they will be at the halfway point of that league. So baseball slowly winding down in the Twin Cities. And that's what I've got.
Does fall league do a playoffs, or they just play so many games and call it good?
They play a 10 to 12 game season, really 6 weeks, twice a week. No postseason, no tournament. They do keep standings, not really stats at all, but the standings are kept. They play, and once the season's done, it's done. Trivia question, Andy.
Yes, the answer. Let's get that in the same episode this time.
A running back, an NFL running back, once threw 2 touchdown passes in a single game. Do you know who that would be, Andy?
Trying to think back, every now and then each team had like a running back that would once a year they'd throw a pass, and you have that go-to guy. But 2 in a game.
2 in a single game. And not preseason. This is a regular season game.
I'm going to say, just because the thought of him throwing a ball would be kind of funny, but I'm going to say Earl Campbell.
Ooh. I was thinking maybe LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, he was good for throwing, yeah.
The answer is Walter Payton. Sweetness. September 18th, 1983, Andy. Threw 2 touchdown passes versus the Saints in a regular season game. One sweeping out to his left on a trick play, tossing it into the end zone, and the other one sweeping off to his right. Sweetness, 2 touchdown passes. He's our trivia question answer of the day.
Yeah, see, he was known for throwing one, maybe a touchdown, a pass once or twice a year, but twice in a game for touchdown. Wow.
And to complete them both for scores. So that's interesting. Now the NFL week 3 now we're finished is wrapping up. Vikings beat Detroit, come from behind. They're 2-1. Packers 2-1. Any other comments? I don't have really much on NFL.
A couple funny plays over the weekend. Not funny, unfortunate plays. The Dolphins were involved in one. And Twitter was pretty funny about it. The punter went to punt from the end zone and then kicking a guy in the rear end with the ball. The ball went out the back for a safety.
I didn't see that.
Mark Sanchez went on Twitter going, "Hey, that's my gig, the butt fumble." So he had fun with it. He
stay out of my lane.
Yep.
Stay out of my lane, he said.
And then Jimmy G stepped on the back line in the end zone. And the other quarterback goes, "Hey, welcome to the club," or "Thanks for getting me off the schneid," type of thing. So, which I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. You're in the end zone. You're used to so many drops, a step drop, and you can't. You're in the end zone. The punt situation. I'm surprised you haven't seen that more often. But both odd plays like that happening on the same day gets a lot of people.
If you watch the rerun of tonight's Monday Night Football's Come On Man, the pregame,
Okay.
several of those were on the episode. They were funny. Unfortunate, like you said, very odd circumstances, but still very good.
You see them when you're surprised you don't see them more often, which is kind of weird. But
that's true. All right, that's all I got for today. Have a good week, everyone. We'll be on next week with more football. College football will be huge. Baseball wrapping up.
Yep.
And by next week, we'll probably have a little playoff preview for the major leagues.
Hopefully, most of the season, like I said, we go through early October, but we should know that last few spots might be set up or might be battling for who plays 4 or 5, who's got home field. Those last few games will be important for that.
Awesome. And what I'll do is on our Facebook page, post the Wichita Wind Surge final result here tonight or tomorrow. Whatever happens there in Game 3, that should be pretty good. All right, everyone. Have a good week.
See ya.